Welcome to Crypthority. I'm really excited to have you on this channel today. So today we'll be going to look at the Binance Launchpad. But before we jump into that, I want to say that this video is basically education, right? For educational purposes and informative purposes only, not financial advice, right? So in a previous video, I covered up the Binance Launchpad, and I went into the fact that we'll be having the Space ID Launchpad. Was a holding period, or basically the period that was a preparation period. Now subscription has actually been opened. We know, as you can see here, time left until subscription ends is just an hour and 33 minutes. Okay, so subscription was opened on at 6 a.m. UTC and it's going to end at 9 a.m. UTC. So that's a 3-hour period, right? So if you haven't subscribed yet, you should be looking into that. Right now, looking at the statistics, we have about over 80,000 people participants, and then we have over 7 million BNB which has been committed, right? So there's something really interesting about this particular launch part, that the first question is that basically it actually favors those who are holding large quantities of BNB. So if you have like just about 1 BNB, 2 BNB, 3 BNB, and even less than 1 BNB, you are not going to get a lot of allocation, and that is the truth. I'm going to do a little bit of calculation at the end for you to see what I'm talking about, right? So that is why you need to stay to the end, because I'm going to share a strategy for those who don't hold a lot of BNB, or were not able to hold BNB during the period, that you could still make some profit out of this, right? Because if you hold very, very little BNB, it's just going to be a drop in the ocean looking at the total committed BNB. Trust me. Yeah, so let me just jump right into it. I don't really know if I have BNB on this account, so that I can just go through the subscription process. I think I should have some little BNB here. So yeah, we have the calculation period. So we have the subscription. Yes, I have some 0.5 BNB here. So let me just illustrate the commitment. So when you come here, you have to ensure that the BNB you are holding is in the spot wallet balance. So if it's in maybe any other balance, probably your N wallet or any other wallet, you need to transfer it. And then the single initial investment is 0.1. So let me just see max and commit now. And this 0.5 BNB is actually not going to do anything much when it comes to allocation. That is the truth, right? So let me just commit it, just doing this for illustrative purposes. So once you have committed, the BNB is going to be locked and you'll not be able to redeem it, right? So commit now. All right, so I have my BNB successfully committed. Now, probably, who knows, I was a 83,200 participants. Anyway, so we're going to move into the calculation period right after the subscription period is done, and then the final token distribution. So let me just come here and just give a little bit of details here. So we have the calculation period. Now, one interesting thing about the calculation period, and that's one thing I want you to know and be aware of, is that there's like a rough calculation for each participant's final token allocation. Let me just use my example over here. I just committed 0.5 BNB, right? So there's a basic calculation, that is the individual's BNB. So individual BNB, right, committed all over the total BNB committed, right, all over the total BNB times the total tokens that are going to be sold, right? Tokens to be sold. So this is the calculation. That is why I told you what I just committed is a drop in an ocean. And that is one thing I want everybody to know, that for you to participate in this launch part, you need to ensure that you hold very, very huge quantity of BNB. And there was a particular update that Binance sent concerning even the snapshots, and they realized that a lot of people were going to borrow BNB from other platforms in order to hold here to give them an advantage, right? Because of course you can't hold little amounts of BNB. It's not going to do so much, right? So let me just do an illustrative example with what I just did here. So I have committed 0.5 BNB. We have over 7 million BNB, right? And then the coins which are being made available here, we are having 100 million coins offered for this particular sale. Okay, so that's good. And we have a hard cap per user. That's going to be about 600,000 ID, right? So let me just do this basic calculation for you. I just committed 0.5 and over 7 million. So let me just make it 7.2 million times 100 million. Was it 100 billion or 100,000? Let me just confirm this again. All right. So yes, that was 100 million. So times 100 million. So if you're going to get your calculations right, this is going to give us something pretty negligible. I mean, I don't even know how to describe that. So let me multiply it by 100 million, do my calculation somewhere else. I'll get it pretty up. So I'm going to have about 0.69 allocation of ID, and that is really small, not even up to 1, right? So let's just assume someone had about even 100 BNB. Let me replace this 0.5 by 100 BNB and see. So you're going to have, say, about 100 BNB, and that was going to give that particular person about just 138 ID, right? 138 ID, and that was with 100 BNB, which is going to be 100 times. I really don't know that. Let's say if BNB is around $200 right now, so it means that with a holding of about $20,000 worth of BNB, you're just going to get an allocation of 138. So this particular launchpad game deals with numbers, right? The more you hold BNB, really high numbers. And I know not a lot of people have so many BNB tokens, to participate in this launchpad. So I'm going to share a quick strategy for you to use, right? So amidst all these, it is a very important factor to note that these particular launchpads are super profitable. Let's look at some statistics. So we have seen that the average ROI for these launchpads is about 25 times, right? And then the average ROI looking at the all-time high is 192 times. And basically, when anytime the token is listed, you can expect anywhere from times 4 to times 1,000 of the price. So it's insanely profitable. Just that you need a serious amount of BNB to be able to have a very high piece of this cake. So if you let's look at the top projects by ROI. You've seen all these projects were projects which were actually did their launchpad on Binance Launchpad. So we look at these projects. So the recently launched was Hook Protocol, and currently it has done 20 times of the price, even after a serious dump, right? I'm going to show you that particular chart, and then we currently have Space ID. So Hook Protocol, I'm going to show you Hook Protocol chart in a jiffy and then share some final tips. So let me just go into the final tips. Now, it is not a secret anymore that you need a very substantial amount of BNB to be able to have a very good allocation, right? So even with 100 BNB, you're going to just have about 138 ID if I had my calculations right. So a lot of people are not able to have a very good piece of their allocation. What you can do is that you can still come in to buy, right? So if you would like to buy, there is something that you need to know. Mostly anytime these tokens are listed, within the first couple of minutes it takes a really high jump. There's a moonshot to the all-time high usually on that first day, and then it drops. So if you would like to buy, I would suggest, this is not financial advice, I would suggest that even though you didn't have a very good allocation for the launchpad, you can actually wait for the token to dip after it makes its all-time high during the first day or first couple of minutes that it's listed, and then you jump into it, right? So that is another strategy you can take, and then you can make some good money from that also, right? But the market, that's what it does. we can just use history to see some of these things, but but the market just does what it does. So we are not going to predict the market. We're just going to react to how the market plays. Now, this is the strategy I would like to share with you. So if you want to still get on this, what you have to do is that you need to be present in the market before the market opens. Usually have USDT or BNB available, because it's going to be commonly paired with it. The tokens are going to be commonly paired with it. Now, you need to allow the market to touch the highest price for the day, and this usually takes place within the first few seconds. That's the first step, right? It's always the case. And then you need to calculate about 60 to 80% retracement from the highest price for the day, and then you can start buying. So you set buy levels within 60 to 80% retracement and applying DCA to take your profit. Now, this particular strategy is a no loss strategy, so I'm not going to put a stop loss here. And the caution with this is that if you are going to be buying, just take note that you are in for the long term, a bit long, all right, so that you can even hold if the scenarios don't play out perfectly in the short term, right? So if this is not your style, then this particular strategy is not for you, right? So let's just look at Hook, which was the very last Binance Launchpad before we are going to have Space ID today. So you can see that the opening price for Hook was 0.1. That was the Launchpad price. For this particular Space ID, I think it's 0.025 if I remember rightly, but for this was 0.1. And just look at that. On the first day, it went to $5. That was the highest price, all-time high, and in history that has been the all-time high if you look at the chart, right? So it got to 5 on the first day, and on that same first day it retraced, right? It retraced to about 50%, right? Following the following days, it dipped a bit more, and then it came up a bit. So if you waited for it to dip a little bit more to about 60%, 80%, just as I said, you could have gotten in at around these levels or even these levels on the first day and waited a bit to make a bit of profit before it took the tumble down. And if you are in to wait for a little bit longer, you would have seen that you could have gone back to make a little bit of highs close to its all-time high, not really close. I think the price around 3.5 thereabout before it has come down again. So that is basically the strategy. Once it takes a moonshot, it's going to actually retrace, usually on the first day. So don't panic, so don't FOMO to buy when it is so high. Wait for it to retrace to about 60 to 80% before you can jump in again. And when you jump in again, it's possible that within the first some few days you can make some profit, or even if you don't make some profit, you need to keep holding until at least you're a bit profitable from your entry price, right? So that's how it usually plays out, and expect to make about anywhere times 4 to times 1,000 if you're able to get onto the launch pad, usually, because you can see the price move from 0.1 to 5, and that's times 50 if I'm not mistaken. Or is it times 500 or times 50? All right, so let me just move the decimal points. Yeah, okay, so I think that's about times 50 or 500. I don't have my mathematics game up here this morning, right? So yeah, so basically that is it for these launch pads, right? So exciting is going to be in a few minutes, in a few hours, an hour and a few minutes, you're going to have it up listed. And so right here, final token distribution, and after that, so what happens is that the final allocation will be calculated, and the BNB will be deducted from your already logged BNB amount, right? So I told you that I'm going to just have less than, with this calculation, with the 0.5 calculation, that is even less than 1 ID. So it means the remaining BNB is going to be the price going to be deducted, and the remaining BNB will be deposited into my spot wallet. All right, so thank you. If you enjoyed this video, kindly give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed yet, and also if you don't have a Binance account, kindly check the description of this video. There's going to be a link there. You can click on it to create your Binance account so that you can participate in future opportunities like this. Thank you for watching this, and tell me in the comment section, what do you think is going to be the all-time high for the first day as Space ID is going to be listed? Who knows? If you're able to guess correctly, right by 9 a.m. UTC, I'm going to give you a very amazing gift, right?